Here we go.
Yeah. Welcome to the Namaste experience. We're going to start out with Miss Vicky today. Take a deep breath. Can you believe we're doing this with no internet, no water, and no electricity? Miracles, miracles, miracles all around us. So, Miss Vicky, how about you start us off and thank you for your flexibility in walking through this as we walk through the many iterations of this morning here at Namaste.
Thank you, Penny. And I want to say thank you to Chris and Robbie and all you guys and Penny for you guys pulling it together to come on board today, not having all of those things. So I didn't know about the water and electricity, never mind the internet. And so thanks and bless you. Bless your hands and your willingness to do whatever it takes to get us all together this morning. Thank you. Thank you. And there will not be a Scott flashback on flashlight after our meeting this morning because there is no internet. And I want to say to all of you that came to Jimmy's meeting, it was an interview that Patricia Pierce and Glenn hosted last night on Zoom. And many of you were there, and it just filled my heart. I just want to thank all of you that came because I know how much it meant to Jimmy. And it meant a lot to me too, because it was another place where we're recognizing and witnessing that it isn't just me, myself, I, but that we are really living in a communion. And it shows up in those moments. When I looked in that room and I saw all you guys, it was like, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. We belong to a communion of being that we're in touch with, that we're in resonance with, that we are letting go with, that we are opening up and accepting the love that we already are and letting it come to the surface. And the other thing it reminded me of, yes, there is Sue. There is a recording. It is now on YouTube. So you can find it under Glenn Hoverman or under Take Heart Publications. Um, in 2015, Jimmy started, he wanted to do a revival around the Course in Miracles workbook. And that's when he and I started to work together every day. And from that time on until today, it has been a flowering of that joining for me, I'm sure, and for all of us to realize we're a collective we. And we started that revival in 2015 with a tent in the front yard of the Quincy house. And it was an old Penny, you would have loved it. It was an old fashioned like church revival. And we did a laying on of hands and blessing Jimmy and blessing this whole endeavor to join together to do the workbook and to include everyone in the world that, and Jimmy opened it up, had thousands of people doing it. And within that year, there were 20 other teachers in that same year in 2015 who also offered doing the workbook with their community, their extended family. And it certainly opened us up to see where we are today. And last night was the launching, like a revival. Patricia offered a prayer to launch that book into the mind and the soul and the heart of the whole world. And but what was launching was our resonance as we accept what, and that's what this week has been. It's been a week of really diving into the annihilation of the self in James's book and the dissolving of external desires, external longings. That's a big one for Jimmy because most of you remember when he spent 6 months in the anchor hold longing for God. And for him to let go of that and to recognize, oh, that's still a step of distance and separation, and let go of everything. That's what this week has been about. That's what the annihilation of self is about. That's what our communion is about. We are in the experience, not just the practice. We're in the experience of being in touch with love that is our natural being, our soul, our true soul of who we are created as. And that when we're in touch with that, there isn't anything else that we need worry about. Everything else will take care of itself. St. Augustine said, love and do what you will. If the only thing we do, only thing, is look for the direction of present love all day, every day, then everything else will be a byproduct of our willingness to connect with present love, because present love is what spirit is. It is what God is. It is what we are. And so recognizing that and seeing it being launched last night was just the most wondrous feeling to do this collectively together. So I want to thank you all for coming and for living this out. Whether you ever read that book or not, we have been, like we have been tended to like a flock, um, by by the inner teacher that has called us together, and very tenderly, even though the title of the book is a little bit harsh, Annihilation. It's like a little bit harsh title, but the practice, the living of it, is very gentle, because it's a dissolving under grace. It's a dissolving under love. All our false desires to be anything but love, to be these made up identities we've made up for ourselves in roles and bodies and in time. And not only is it a letting go of all that, it's also a fulfillment of that. Because when we have only one goal, to listen to present direction of love, that's constant contact with spirit, with God, to listen only for present direction with love, then the present direction with love is very efficient, even here in time. And as a byproduct, we become the bringers. We are the peacemakers, the bringers who bring into this time and space experience of the world that we're in a peace that is based in love, a sense of brotherhood, a sense of welcoming, a sense of recognizing what isn't love has always only been fear. When we witness to the love within ourselves, we're witnessing it to the love within our brothers. We're seeing our own and our brothers' innocence. And instead of responding and defending and attacking, we're answering every brother's call for help with love. We are meeting every situation with love. And when we follow that one direction, the practicality of love becomes evident to us. We become efficient and we become fulfilled in bringing love as our very being here into time and space. And as a byproduct, it solves whatever is in front of us personally and collectively. And that's partly what the joy of this book is, that this is a quickening of that practice of letting love dissolve fear. That one line from the Old and New Testament, perfect love casts out fear. When we let our fears and our other desires, instead of pursuing them, let them rest under the gaze of present love. Present love dissolves them, because present love is the fulfillment of what we thought we were looking for. But we never stopped long enough to let it in. And in our way of living now, we're helping each other let love in and let go of the running and the tendency to run away from love in what looks like reasonable ways to save the world, to fix a relationship, to solve some situation. Rather than handling these things, we together, and this is the quickening that's happening, we're helping each other trust love to answer what seems to be a problem externally, remembering that the external is just a reflection of our own internal. So when we decide to let everything be resolved by love, that's when perfect love can cast out fear. And we are the bringers of that. We are the peacemakers. We are now children of God, not children of the ego trying to fix up a world to play in. We are children of God, here to celebrate and play and bless everyone with the peace and happiness that is every day being more and more revealed. We are in the state of revelation. We are revealing present love when we bring ourselves to the direction and we willingly ask only for the direction of present love to whatever faces us today, large or small. Whether should I drive home at 6 in the morning or should I drive back to New Jersey at 10 at night? I waited for present love. So wait for the direction. And it's simple. Lean into the natural feeling of love. That's all this is talking about. The annihilation of the self is the end of self solutions. That's all. And the opening to solutions that come from heaven, that come from God, that come from love, and welcoming them with wonder, not trying to see, oh, do they fit my plan? No, there's no plan except that I'm listening to present love, and present love will fulfill the plan I'm here to offer, to bring about, to give. Do you see how it's just a little upside down? So trust each other, hold each other's hands. Thank you for coming together in the way we come together every day at Namaste Village, on the phone calls, on the workbook lesson, in all the ways, and last night at Glenn's. Thank you for your joining in answering the call for help, the call for love. There's a good line in Jimmy's book, and it says, we become the portal ourselves, not the book, not the words in a book, but the energy and the vibration of each of us as we resolve with our willingness to let love guide us, to in every instant seek only for love's direction in what to have for breakfast and what to put on for clothes. In all the little things, make it fun, because it's a great relief. We don't have the burden of our self-willed little plans that we're doomed to misery. We instead are open to to, I don't know, they called it the parousia. Parousia means the coming of heaven on earth. Who knew it was just us being us without fear, listening to love? That's what it is. It's us being us without fear. So I love you all, and I know, Reverend Penny, you have a wonderful summation for us for the week. And I really appreciate each one of you. I love you and I thank you. Have a wonderful weekend. And Penny, it's all yours.
Vicki, we thank you. We bless you. We appreciate you. Yes?
Thank you, Penny.
Yeah. Thank you. Huh. You know, this week we had a new acronym drop in, and I blame it on you guys too, because it's always the room that drives those things. Let, that's if I were to look up Vicki in a dictionary, the first word it would say would be let. Let it, right? Love everything today is what we came to with let. Now I will tell you, this morning we're buzzing around. There was some work to do. There were some things that had to be shifted and done. And to make this happen, again, I am in deep, deep gratitude for our friend Chris to help make that happen. And it was a lot of love. It was easy, it was calm, and it was a lot of love and extension cords. And it is an extension of the love that we are. It's laying right here on the ground. Because in our lives, as we've talked about this week, it's about that union and that gratitude. And let me tell you what, the extension cords are holding it together. I am grateful for that. Love, right? That knowing, James reminded us this week, that enlightenment, perhaps it is love simply allowing us to vanish into adoration, to vanish into the adoration of the divine that is within us and the divine that is within each other, to stand in a place of connection and adoration for that. It is here that we gain knowing, and we talked about it's a matter of love. It's a matter of love because it's only love that matters. We talked a little bit about that ordinary and that master. And James asked the question, why be confused about confusion? Why be concerned that there's no water, electricity, or internet? Because it's just no electricity, no water, and no internet. Yeah. Well, there are moments that it's easy to slip out of that consciousness, isn't it? Yeah. Crawling around on the ground, asking Toby for more extension cords. Yeah. But the point is this. As the Course in Miracles reminds us, there is no degree to miracles. That also means there's no limit. That also means there is no finite definition of the miracles that we live in and have the capacity to express. See, even when you're crawling around on the floor, plugging in extension cords, running from room to room, sending out messages to the community and then retracting them. Nope, we got a new plan. Nope, we got a new plan. Nope, we've got a new plan. Welcome to life. Love is all that matters. It's a matter of love. James mentioned Thomas Merton this week, talking about Merton and Suzuki, and I found a quote that was a combination of the two of them. Merton said this, he said, speaking as a monk and not a writer, I am much happier with emptiness when I do not have to talk about it. And we find the power once again in the silence. We discovered it doesn't matter how you drink your tea. What matters, are you present to the presence? We talked about paying attention to who is acting, not the doing, but who is doing the doing. To step back and see yourself, if you can, in the midst of what appears to be a challenge. To step back and appreciate yourself when you see the divine expressing through you. To step back and remember there are no degrees to the expressions and the miracles that you are. We ask the question, what brings you peace? What moves you to love? And if that does no harm, do more of that. A master, while simply not just simply a teacher in the traditional sense, but a master, which we all are, it resides within us, seeking to express through us. A master inspires others to discover the knowledge and the wisdom that they already possess. To inspire us into remembering and acknowledging nothingness, the allness, the divine presence within. And to stabilize that, James brought that to us this week, to stabilize that in our lives. And the first way we talked about that is possible is to accept what is eternally true. To accept what is eternally true. Do you remember? Do you remember what's eternally true about you? Your light, your love, your joy, your completeness, your wholeness, your oneness. Anytime you need to be reminded, let me know. To remember the divine, the infinite expression, and to stabilize in what is eternally true. Wow. That would have been a really good one for me to remember last night when I started mulling over how we could get this done or not get this done. I love dropping into those human places. I like being reminded that I'm also divine. In New Thought, that is the definition of the Christ, the human expression of the divine, the truth, to really understand the holiness. That's truth. And we have to do the work. These extension cords did not plug themselves in. The extension of love in your life does not just happen by thinking, I think I'll go out there. I think I'll extend some love out into the world. And I believe we do impact the field with our thoughts. And then when we hear, get up off your chair and go plug in an extension cord. When we hear, go ask for that forgiveness you so deeply are seeking. Go make that connection. Because you are 100% responsible for 50% of every relationship in your life. Go, listen, do, and be discerning to know and ask the question, what is mine to do in this? As we are present in the being. But it requires us sometimes, a lot of times, to get off our chair. We ask the question, what would love have me see in this right now? What would love have you see? Where in your life? Is there a spot? If you don't have one, you can borrow one of mine. Is there a place that feels a little disconnected, unhealed? Perhaps ask the question, what would love have me see in this now? And I truly do believe the only answer that we can hear when love asks this of us is love. What would love have me see in this? Love. What would love have me do in this? Love. How would love show up in this? You got it? Love. And to live from the Christ center we talked about this week. To live from the Christ center and to refuse, as James reminded us, to continue to wander. To step into the center of the Christ consciousness that you are. And what will you find there? Love. There we go. Love. All right, all you on Zoom. Love, right? What is mine to do in this? If I refuse to wander and stay in the Christ center of who I am and have always been, what is mine to do in this? And we were reminded, always let your soul shine. Always let your soul shine. The universe has invited us into this infinite expression. I'm just not ready to tell the universe, no, I won't do that. No, I'm not going to let my light shine. No, I think I have a better idea. No, I don't want to forgive that. No, I don't want to make that connection. No. And the universe smiles and says it's a matter of love. Because love is all that matters. But you go ahead, Penny. You stand right over there and say no. Go ahead. And then when you want to be at peace, when you want to know connection, when you want to remember your oneness, come back on over here, because love is all that matters. I don't know about you, but I'm going to work really hard today to remember that. And that the dissolving into that is the healing. That the allowing of that is where we connect. Let. L-E-T. Love everything today. I am honored. I am impressed by this community. I am grateful for Vicky's flexibility. I am honored to serve here at Namaste Village. Love everything today. Namaste. And we seal that with Amen, 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 Ibudo. Thank you, my friends.
Thank you.